Then number 8, so an exam paper has a maximum of 75 marks. One of 5 pass grades A to E is assigned depending on the mark obtained. The lowest mark for a given grade is known as the grade boundary. Right, for example, if the grade boundary for an A is 65 marks, then any candidate who achieves a mark of 65 or more, or above, will be awarded an A, an A grade. So a grade of U is awarded for any marks below the E grade boundary. Right, the 5 grade boundaries are stored in a global 1D array grade boundary of type integer. For example, grade boundary 165, right, minimum for an A, obviously just etc. Of course, anything less than 27, right, that's going to be a U. Right, a global 2D array result of type integer contains candidate marks for the exam. Each row relates to one candidate, right, column 1 contains the candidate mark, and column 2 contains the unique candidate ID. So what they're saying here then, right, this is what candidate 4, obviously, while column 1, right, that's the mark. Obviously, well, here again, candidate 4, right, column 2, that's going to be their candidate ID number. Right, there are more rows in the array than candidates who sit the exam. Any unused rows will be at the end of the array. Candidate papers that are given a mark within 2 marks of any grade boundary must be checked. Checked, kind of like rechecked. So for example, given the values in the example grade boundaries above, any paper that was awarded between 41 and 45 marks inclusive would need to be checked. And I guess that's because, if we see here, obviously, 43, and again, plus or minus 2. And of course, that's going to be within 2 grades of a C, right, therefore they have to be rechecked. Right, a program has been written to identify papers that need to be checked. The program has defined the first program module as follows. Right, so checkmark is called with a parameter of type integer represented in candidate mark. It returns true if the mark is within 2 of any of the 5 grade boundaries. Right, otherwise it returns false. Right, so here we just want to write pseudocode for the module checkmark. Okay, so as always then, of course, go to exam questions, right, go to pseudocode, find this paper, and then, here you can just open the sample code. Now, as always, so I think, if we look at this, what we want to think, so here are the grade boundaries. Then I guess what we want to do, we just want to loop through the grade boundaries, one by one, and just check that, if the parameter is greater than or equal to, this current grade, minus 2. And what less than or equal to, this grade, plus 2. So I think, let's try and do that. Right, let's go function, and it's going to be checkmark. So let's go mark, right, that's an integer. Right, and here then, the return result is just going to be Boolean. Right, so I think, since we need to loop through all of the, since we need to loop through all of the grades, when I say grades, I mean, the grade boundaries. Let's go index, right, of course, that's going to be I'm just a for loop index. Maybe, I don't know, I guess if you want, you could store, the current grade boundary grade, although I think we don't really have to here. So let's go for, here's going to be what index, that's going to be, 1 to 5. Right, then I think, here we just want to check. So we want to go, so this is going to be grade boundary. To be honest, I guess we can also do mark. So let's go, mark like this. Right, so let's think, if mark is greater than or equal to, and that's going to be what grade boundary, at this index, and what that's going to be minus 2. Alright, and then I think, and mark, this should be, less than or equal to, grade boundary, right, obviously, this index, and that's going to be plus 2. Right, so if it is, then that's going to be true. Right here then we just want to return true. Right, so let's go return true. Then we can just have an end if. Now, so the things, right, some people might make a mistake with go, else, return false. But of course, the things, right, this is only checked one grade boundary. It's not checked all 5 at the moment. So here, let's go end if. Right, then let's go, next index. And I think, obviously, here, if we've successfully looped through all the grade boundaries, and of course, none of them were, within 2 of the mark. Then obviously in this case, then we can return false. Yeah, so I think that's all we need to do. Now, what I'm going to do, okay, well, I'm just going to use, okay, yeah, I'm just going to have a loop just to test this. So I know, well, let's go like score or grade. And I guess, well, let's start that at 0. Right, let's go 2. And, well, yeah, I think it's 75, they said the maximum. Right, so then what I'm going to do, well, let's just output the score. And, okay, right, of course, well, then we're just going to output true or false, right, for whether it needs to be rechecked. So let's go score. Yeah, let's just have a, okay, right, let's have a colon, right, just so we can separate. And, right, let's have check mark, and let's just go score like that. Alright, and then we're here, okay, let's just go next score, and let's run this, right, see if it works. Okay, right, so, and actually, well, yeah, let's go up here. So, I guess, right, okay, if we think, so, right, if it says, well, 19, 19 to 23, yeah, that should be saying true. And yeah, okay, if we look at that, right, 19 to 23, let's look at the next one. So I guess it's saying, well, here, right, 34, yeah, 34. All right, then, of course, well, if we go to 40, yeah, etc. And then, yeah, obviously, well, here, right, 66, and yeah, okay, 66 is going to be an A. Okay, right then, let's, yeah, go to the next part. So a second module is to find CheckAll. It's called with a parameter of type integer representing the number of candidate marks in the result array. It's going to use CheckMark to check each candidate mark. For each paper that needs to be checked, write the corresponding candidate ID on a separate line in a new file, well, I guess, yeah, grade list, right, .txt. Right, then we output a message with a count of how many papers need to be checked. Okay, then, well, yeah, just write pseudocode for CheckAll. Right, okay, so yeah, let's just go here and, well, of course, yeah, let's just paste it again. Right, so, well, obviously for me, right, I'm just going to comment that out. Okay, so if we actually scroll to the top here, okay, I mean, alright, so I realised this number of candidates was actually wrong, okay, it was actually saying 66. Right, I mean, I've actually counted here, right, it's actually 27 in this case. So yeah, alright, okay, so I think by the time I upload this video, you know, I'll fix that. So, okay, what we can say, well, of course, well, there's 27 valid candidates here, and, well, yeah, I mean, as I said, right, I mean, the rest of the values are just empty, right, just null. Okay, so what we want to do, right, it's called, yeah, it's called CheckAll. Right, so what's going to be a procedure, right, CheckAll. Right, okay, so, okay, right, right, so yeah, here's called a parameter representing the number of candidate marks in the result array. So I guess I name, alright, let's say, well, num candidates. Yeah, and okay, alright, well, of course, I mean, alright, in this case, it's going to be a variable. Right, and then, alright, okay, well, since it's a procedure, it's not going to return anything. Right, so I think, okay, what we want to do then, well, of course, right, okay, we want to loop through each candidate one by one, well, yeah, obviously call checkmark. So if we're looping through, well, let's just declare, right, let's go index, and that's going to be an integer. And, I mean, also, okay, right, since we're also, using a file, then, I mean, I guess, well, of course, yeah, you can use the file name over and over, but I think often, right, I mean, they actually declare file names as constants. So, right, let's go, well, constant file name, right, and then, well, okay, right, if we're assigning to a constant, okay, we're going to use equals. Well, that's, yeah, grlist, right, .txt. Of course, well, I mean, file, right, we're going to need to open the file, so let's go open file, right, then for write. Right, okay, then, in order to loop through these students, let's go for, well, that's going to be index, well, of course, here it's going to start at 1, right, student 1, right, then 2, well, it's, yeah, 2, the number of candidates. Right, then I guess here then, okay, right, okay, so what we just want to call, yeah, call checkmark. Alright, so let's go, okay, checkmark, and right, this takes marks as an integer, so I think, well, that's going to be the result array. Okay, right, well, okay, right, if we see, okay, so the row, okay, well, the row index, right, that's, well, basically the student. Right, okay, well, then we said column 1, well, okay, I mean, yeah, if we just look, right, okay, so column 1, I mean, well, that's their mark. Again, well, column 2, right, that's their ID number. So, yeah, well, okay, here we are. Right, okay, alright, okay, so let's see, right, if this equals true, well, then, yeah, okay, alright, okay, right, so, well, then we just want to write their ID, right, to a new line. Okay, right, so let's do that, then we just want to go, write file, and, okay, like, I have realised there's actually going to be another variable we need as well. Right, so write file, okay, that's going to be results, and, right, that is going to be what index, and then, well, I think, yeah, column 2, right, that's going to be their ID. Right, so here then, right, okay, so what the other, yeah, I guess the other, well, okay, right, yeah, the other variable we're going to need, right, that's going to be what a count of how many need to be rechecked. So, I mean, let's just call that count, I think that's fine. Right, this count, well, let's just initialize that to 0, and here, well, yeah, of course, well, let's just increment count. Right, then I think here, well, yeah, okay, right, here we can just have an end if, right, let's go next index, I think let's go close file, right, and then here I think, yeah, we can then just output. Right, so let's go output. Let's say, yeah, okay, right, so well, let's go count. Right, then let's say, well, papers, right, need to be rechecked. So that'll say, I don't know, yeah, 12 papers need to be rechecked. Yeah, I mean, is that everything? So use this check mark. Yeah, okay. Yeah, writes to a new file. Yeah, alright, so I think that seems to work. So let's just call this. Right, let's go check all what the number of candidates, well, that's going to be this constant. Yeah, I think in this case it's 27. And okay, right, so it says, well, 7 papers need to be rechecked. Now, if we have a look at this, right, I'm just going to go here. Let's do a find. Okay, right, that's this one. They got a 33. And yeah, I guess if we look here, well, of course, right, 34. Alright, yeah, well, therefore, right, 33 seems like it should be rechecked. Alright, let's try and find this one as well. Right, so here they got 40. I guess, well, 40 again. I mean, that seems correct. Yeah, well, obviously, I'm this one, right, so 4616. Yeah, 67, right, 66. Yeah, so I think here, this seems to be working. And if we look, I mean, yeah, 7, and yeah, 7 here. Right, okay, so, yeah, okay, alright, and then just, I guess, a kind of wordy question at the end. Yeah, actually, just super short. Right, the requirement changes. Instead of a new file, the module described in part B needs to add the corresponding candidate ID for each paper that needs to be checked to an existing file. Right, then explain the changes, or well, the change that will need to be made to CheckAll. Right, so I mean, actually, okay, this one's quite simple, right? If it's an existing file, well, I mean, obviously, rather than opening in write mode, I mean, let's see, well, I'm here, okay, well, let's say, right, open the file, right, in append mode. Yeah, open the file, right, in append mode. I mean, let's just check. So this one was, yeah, that was the CheckAll, and then, yeah, here, nothing. Right, guys, so again, I mean, as always, well, hopefully that video is useful. Right, if you've got any questions, just ask in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.